Hello. Welcome to the afternoon conversation here. The premier radio conversation on ELBC Radio 99.9. It is a bumper show. I guess you've been asking yourself, asking people, where is Jala? And I received many questions and many concern. People were concerned, were asking me, where have you been? While Isaac Garrison Ray was seated in the seats. Thanks for your concern. Thanks for all the concern and information you gave me while I was away. I was actually traveling with the president on a county tour. A tour of 3 counties. Magibi, Grand Bassa, and that of Bon County. Those 3 counties, we went to all the villages. Went to the central points, not all the villages, but to the central points. Liberians gathered in their numbers to welcome Bagugbe to the counties. And I know what happened in Bezo. In Grand Bassa County, the president has to disembark his vehicle to walk with the people to the fairground. When the ways on, we passed through Bazigia town. In Bazigia town, there was a woman there dishing her food and was hungry. And I played Drafea when I said the food, the food. And she was magnanimous. She gave us a big dish of rice in a dish pan. Liberians are so hospitable. Then we ate that food, everybody got filled. In Masigatan, a place called, there's a big house called the Yellow Village or Yellow House on top of the hill in Basigatan. So because Basigaya people are so hospitable, they took care of us in that town. We went to Bon County, David town, way beyond our Kelebe area. We passed through my father's village. Went so many places. President George Weah is now at the General Assembly in the U.S. Making case for Liberia. Oh yes, making case for Liberia. As the World Bank prepares to give $300 million US dollars to the Liberian government for the construction of a new hydro. Isn't that a good news for our country? As we go to the election, the World Bank is pleased with the performance of the government, of the current government. Do we give power to the people who squander opportunities and abuse time? Those squanderers and abusers of time? Do we give them time again to come back to loot this country? Where are the Robert Salis? Where are the Darrell Dillons? The guys who are turning the black bear for the Robert Salis, the bear boy. One of them is unfortunately a senator today. All the promises made to the Liberian people cannot come to fruition. Mr. Liar Man. The money to pay again, take all the money I will take and give back to the county for district development. That one we need to be lie. Where do we go next? You know, we stay here up to 6 o'clock. Sorry for that. I'm told the CDC is launching in Lofa County, Mankolu Workers, Lofa County. They are launching there today. I hope the spirit of Kolba Akwe, our appointment in that area, while in Bon County, I came across a smart young man, and I said, you are the bumper show correspondent in Bon County. He worked for Puma FM, is a Premier FM, he's a smart young man. Abraham Gosson Woyan, the man who said and turn around Lufa. He turned Lufa around. We my guest in the studio. Abraham Gosson Woyan. We're going to take the first half of this program to do a post-analysis of the various campaigns. As we speak, 3 of the parties in Liberia, the CDC, the United Party, and that of the ANC, have launched their campaign respectively in Monrovia and in Margibi County respectively. What does it make of all of these political gatherings? As the guys around will join us. Mr. Moses Watson Jones will join us as well. They are all journalists. We do the post-analysis of all of these things that happen in the week or over the weeks. My name is Jala Grayfield. I'm the nation's MJ. Better say coming Jala, Emmanuel, Nikki, Kalifagala, Kiang Malakuli, Nyale, want to go. Zubo Womangana Kwila, Davatema, Jabapunu, Samashan Grayfield. Where's my boy Elijah Red? You cannot afford to go away. Let me pause right here. As per tradition, we usually invite the presence of God in our midst by calling one of these announcers, language announcers, to come and pray for our country just in 30 seconds and a minute. We ask that language announcer, ask God to protect our leaders. The President, His Excellency Ambassador George Weah, the Vice President, Her Excellency Neswakoko Mayo Jua Howard Taylor, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, the Pro Tem, and the Speaker, all elected and appointed officials in government, and all Liberians. Marcolu Walker is here to pray for us in the Loma vernacular. Yanae.
Ja.
Okay.
Ja. Eva.
Levasi.
Ba fine so.
Kala mama.
Awa mama. Ate krafalina. Kwa was our no kweni. Akiema mama. Ka beli ekmas vetsla. Finiso. Ka beli ekanu barak dite mas vetsla. Finiso. Ka beli effect kemas vetsla kwasa ono saka keso kiema mama. Mama. Amina.
Mama, amen. Thank you. Amen. That's what Marco said in the Lama vernacular. Let's start with this one. As peace get concert now, then my brother A.B. goes away. We just move right this way, like yeah. And PCA is asking God to protect our leaders. His Excellency Ambassador Dr. George Weah, who is now in the United States of America, making case for Nigeria at the General Assembly. Let's pray for peace and tranquility in our land and avoid violence. Let's pray against violence in these elections. Whosoever wins, it is the pleasure and will of God. God gives direction. He heals the land. I'm the nation's MJ. Remember Jala Grayfield chapter 1 verse 1. Let's talk, and never shall we fight. Fighting shall never be our portion. Nangala iluni badia. The mega kwa. I love my country. I love my people. I love my country. I love my country. Father, save us from this pandemic, especially our leaders. Let me welcome the guys in Ganjira County, the guys in Foya, the guys in Sanakoli. the guys in Bond County. Let me say welcome to you. How are you listening? Where you listen from? It's on the Bumper Show. Let me pause for a while and welcome my friend and brother. We are in it together. You see, we're getting there. Let me AB gossip on. How are you, comrade?
I'm doing so fine, John. It's great.
I'm looking at it, had a laughing.
They had
You're looking like one bouncer, traditional old man.
That is exactly what I'm saying.
He's always amazing, you know. You can't tell his next move. You know, sometimes his next move, I can't stay him sometimes.
You know you can stay me.
Amen. Gossip is my guest here. Will be doing my Acid Guys on Red, and hopefully Mr. Watson Johnson will join us. They are all Liberian journalists. I thought they engage them to know their mood and views about things happening. But Amy, how are things with you? How's Freedom FM?
Well, we are very grateful to the Almighty God for His life. He continues to give us unmerited, and of course, life He continues to give us. And we are very much proud that our country is as it is, despite our differences and everything that we are doing. We can still maintain a peace at this level. And our election is going on smoothly. The processes are ongoing. So whichever way it goes, we are trying to play our role, especially our freedom, to make sure that our country's image is well protected and not to allow ourselves to disintegrate into the past. So we'll try those things. So the vices of our lives, the sessions that always kept us in the past or took us to the past, the dark days. Some of us have said, no, we don't need to try the path again, and people have appreciated us. They said, well, some of you to be around, or the kind of journalism we see today, the analytical and critical style of journalism we see today, but you guys to be around during those periods, there wouldn't have been even rise out.
Yeah,
there really have been
enlightenment.
People who have told you, because if the president of the Republic of Liberia is telling you he's carrying out, they're trying to increase the price of rice, what is the purpose of that? Because government policies and decisions should have some intent. It is that intent, misinterpretation of these citizens to act in the way they act.
Of course.
So, like that period,
information is not disseminated.
Very good. So I always told people there's a difference between information and education. Now, you can inform somebody about something, but you got to educate them about that information that you are giving them. Because if Jara were to just walk up here and say, hey, leave. What does the interpretation of your leave mean? You got to tell me. What are you telling me? Where do I go? How do I leave?
Like a George Bush telling Chancellor, Chancellor must leave now.
You see that now. So, again, So, what we have been used to in time past is that people had always given information. As to educating our people about the information giving is what has been the problem. Now, people have said, we owe it to our country. People said, oh, well, the government pay people. The information ministry is paid to disseminate information. Information dissemination is not just authority, but you have to properly educate the people about the information. And this is where we're coming. And that's why we are to where we are. And that is why we are doing what we do. And we believe that we all owe it to our country. You don't have to be employed before you serve your country. It's a civic duty. And we think that we're on the path. We'll continue to do what we think we can do in and out of government.
Thank you, Amy. And let me announce the arrival of our walk-in guest. Honorable Jalawa Tombo, welcome. How are you?
It's my pleasure.
You have to put that microphone.
Yeah, I think it's
Man, you just walk up like that. How are you?
It's my pleasure. While driving, coming to visit the premises here, I listened to you, and you said you were inviting journalists. So
you're a journalist too.
So prior to my ascendancy to this post,
but you said a journalist.
I was and still a journalist.
Yeah, and you're still a journalist.
And in fact, I wrote for a renowned magazine, the London-based New African magazine.
Okay.
And I make money out of that magazine. And
you think the money against special?
So whatever I will say here, it is my journalistic view.
No, but you said in their position
because you are invited.
Okay, let's accept that.
Yeah, so
let's accept that, Mr. Jalawa.
And I'm glad that.
So
yeah,
and I'm how to
listen. So
I'm glad that The young council is here.
Council, welcome. Well, Council, let me come back to you. We're looking at Kalawa, for the last period of time, they have been political rallies.
But why Mr. Winger is laughing?
No, I'm laughing because it is difficult. There's a thin line.
Yeah, but your position.
There's a thin line, and you are not careful. It's difficult to get the two.
So it's difficult.
So he's sitting here now. How does he tell? Because in fact, not just that, but his role being played in government is in line with his journalistic ethics as well.
And that's why I don't know.
Yes, I don't know how you get
that. By 8 o'clock, I'll listen to your analysis.
You see there.
So, gentlemen, we are expecting if Ase doesn't come, Ase is engaged. If doesn't come, okay, Watson Johnson has just joined us. Mr. Watson Johnson, a journalist too. He comes. He worked for Power FM, Power TV, and as well. But Abi, there have been political rallies around.
Yeah.
The first was a CDC that launched.
Mm-hmm.
You saw the crowd in Monrovia. The second was the ANC of Cummings launched in Magiri County, and they were crowded around. Now was the Unity Party yesterday. They launched yesterday.
Yeah.
I want to sit back for a while, about 3-4 minutes, I did 4 minutes, and get your political analysis of these events, the peaceful nature of it, when it was violent some places whatsoever, but the peaceful nature whatsoever with it, and how do these people you saw, are they really general crowd that came outside in the midst of the crowd politics, because it plays a lot. ECOWAS is here, the EU and the entire international community are here. They are watching these processes, and these are processes that inform that decision. When elections are held, they say, yeah, but again, yesterday we saw Mr. SYC, his crowd was bigger than the crowd. We saw them cry in the airplane, it was bigger. How do we put this into proper perspective, if I go to Mr. Jalawa Tompo after your 4 minutes?
All right, so it's very much interesting, especially it's good our people are listening in the depth of this country to understand as to what had been happening in recent times. Our politics, the crowd politics is essential to our body politics. We need to tell the sense of belonging, the sense of oneness, and the political strength of a political institution or an individual. So those are things that we look at. So every time it will always come down to this. That's why you will hear about the campaign launch, and from the launch, then the close of the campaign activities. But the campaign launch activities are always being used to project what the entire country will look like. So like for instance, the CDC is launching in Montserrat County. The kind of crowd that will show up is a mixed crowd made of people from different counties as well. Because when election processes are ongoing, especially during registration process, you will find people going to their respective counties to go to register there to vote. Now, upon the registration process, they come back to town because most of them may have some engagements in town. So they come back. But again, when it comes to that, but mainly the issue about campaign launch is mainly centered around presidential aspect of our election. It's not representative, it's not senatorial, especially in these general elections that we are going to. So the CDC had its launch and on the 7th, which of course they had it on a working day, and the Unity Party just did theirs on yesterday, and in the legal profession they call it non-DAS day, and
they call it
non-DAS day. I mean, it's a day that nobody works. So, and it affords you the opportunity, because these are days that nobody can hold you accountable to have any your own issues about official dates and things, so you can't do that. And that is what happened. Now, you are just telling me, though, despite me, I mean, what you got about the ANC launch, I did not take what they did in Kakata, but no, that's what it is. I'm just telling you, I was very shocked at that, because it was in the most recent time, these debates coming, and then other people start saying, but the ANC was even able to move, let me say the CPP, let's call it the CPP, let's give them that credit. That's what the National Elections Commission recognized them.
As a matter of fact, I was driving from Bana coming to Monrovia when I saw them moving into Kakata.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is what others were comparing, to say, okay, the CDC, you did yours in Monrovia, and the Unity Party did theirs in Monrovia. Then the ANC decided to go outside of Montserrat County and were able to crowd the place. And that is what it said. But again, it it defines, it could just inform us as to what our political trend is looking like and who has got to have numbers, but it is not really the determinant of the election's results.
You mean the
historical perspective?
You mean the crowd politics? Okay.
I always know that, and I've always studied that.
Meaning that those people who turn out cannot be translated or turned into real votes.
And that is where the problem is, especially not all of them, because they are qualified to vote, right? But you have, let's say Montserrat County. Montserrat County, you have over 900,000 votes at stake. If you look at the population there, counting in 10s, 20s, and so forth, you will know that there's a bit of challenge, even in hundreds.
What is the challenge?
No, you get to understand for your own analysis and think that if you are to study and of course count these people in 10s, their 20s, and so forth, then somebody will tell you, oh, we are going for the 1 million. We are going for this. But again, that's the nomenclature that will be given to it. But that turnout that you will see that day, it speaks volume. It speaks volume. But it could not, or it cannot be used as a yardstick to determine that one will have them. Because I'm saying this because the CDC in opposition always dominated in terms of crowd politics against the Unity Party. They did everything they could. So if you were to compare with that of the electoral process, the electoral system in the United States of America, you will see the Democrats have the popular vote, and of course the electoral college will decide.
So what we saw yesterday, is it a replica of what you're talking about? Because it's been established that the CDC or the opposition has already had
Montserrat County
over the ruling party. That was proven when Ambassador Weah pulled the figures and he had more votes in Montserrat over the United Party. Is it that this time around we can be assured with what we saw yesterday that you get more votes for the opposition for the ruling coalition?
So Montserrat County is the metropolitan area, especially this is where all of the debates and all of the issues are evolving here. So the rural area is a different story, and you will really be able to understand from there. Here is where you find bulk of the civil servants. The policies, prescriptions of government, the impact, the effect, and of course the ripple effects and everything will be sensed from here. I am not exactly saying that which I saw yesterday, because from a kind of perspective, and you look at the drone pictures from what I saw done yesterday, and you were to analyze it, taking into consideration the 2005 and 2011 gatherings of the CDC in opposition. I think the CDC in opposition at the time had more strength. They demonstrated much as compared to what we saw on yesterday. Now, what we saw on yesterday, I had wanted to see more. That I did not see. Because if you look at the drone pictures, now, look at the day the launch was held. Look at the day the launch was held, and you are comparing a launch held at the same venue with two separate days. One is a working day launch crowd, and you have another one, a non-working day crowd. Now, so you have expected that the one with the non-working day crowd will have had more.
Why?
Because the point there is people are not engaged. People have got to be free. In fact, I had even expected, because they had announced that the rally was going to kick off at 7 with the parade. But I know the rain, 7 a.m. with the parade. Now, that did not happen.
The rain defied them.
So, even despite the rain, you try to give them the credit and say, okay, some of these people maybe will be God fearing, they went to church. So, about maybe 12, 1, maybe some will go for first service and so forth to get back.
Let's say about 2 o'clock.
Yeah, let's say about 2 o'clock. You could give them 2 o'clock. So in the morning hours, you could see visibly the stadium was very empty, and it was as though build-ups were going on. So they could attribute it to rain, and in some instances,
what be after rain when others said defy the rain?
No, but defy the rain in that context. The rain for me. From my own,
that was challenging.
It was challenging. But let me tell you, the message is sent. That rain was a message.
But one could say sedition defied the rain.
No, I'm coming to the define of the rain. But I'm saying that rain came as a message.
What a message?
Because on the 7th, the rain did come down that day in the morning hours. And citizens had to make their way to later hours before the rain subsided, and then they had their program. But yesterday's rain was quite tense, right?
What was the message?
And the message in there is that, remember, we have just gone to 2020 referendum. At which time the president championing the campaign for our election to be held in the dry season. These people, bulk of them, heard about the likes of Dillon, Buakai, the rest of the opposition members. They decided to campaign against such. And we have afford all of us in fabrication and everyone to participate because I didn't see any reason why that was voted against. I didn't really see any reason for that.
You are driving at a point that the resolution, none of how you call it, the post referendum talk about, it spelled out everything. Reduction of the tenure of the president.
Okay.
The campaign time issue, everything raised. The issue about how you call it, censorship SYZ. They were all voted against. So you think that was a punishment from God?
So you could sense it, certainly, because the message needs to go forward that you can't have that happening. Let's take, for instance, yesterday, people were arguing that people defy rain. Look, there's a difference between loyalty and anger. Anger does not spew out, or it's difficult to determine loyalty in anger. Now, loyalty that people talk about most often is when you are found in a category. Let's say, for instance, Jala is my father. Jala works at state broadcaster like he is now. Jala has all of the money. But yet Jala is not even looking up to me. Or I'm still hoping that Jala will do better for me. And with that expectation, I'm still sticking on to Jala. That means it's loyalty. Because I'm looking at it that way, right? Because Jala is not giving me the, and I'm still there. Now, if I get vexed, if I'm very angry, and I decided to take on to Jalawa Tumpo, and I hang on to Jalawa Tumpo so that Jalawa Tumpo can deal with you, Jala. Because you are my father, you are not doing what I really want for you to do for me. That aspect of supporting Jalawa Tumpo is not loyalty.
What is it?
It's anger. I'm not.
So it means that the guys in the opposition who brought all of these troubles, they were more angry.
They were, in fact, currently they are still angry.
What does it end?
There are people who were in government before, and they are not. But look at a couple of civil servants. Do you know that there were directors who were seen yesterday?
Of course,
showing up.
It was so showboating, and so it means that you are in the government. The same government, you are angry. Position, you're angry and voting against the government. You want to show yourself. What happens, AB, after election when the government is retained?
And that's the problem. You know, our country has just experienced a transition. These are the learning curve that we have to take into consideration. Because when the CDC government took over, they took over an employment workforce within the public sector that was heavily made by the Unity Party they were taking over from. It was the Unity Party that made those people. It was the Unity Party that created that payroll. So that payroll was untouched. The CDC had to say, okay, we're not going to touch them. We're going to add on people. Now, adding on people plus the salary harmonization. You saw some of the inscriptions on their back?
Yeah.
That will harmonize your own. So you see some of the issues. So you can sense where all the messages are coming from. You could sense where the anger was coming from. Even if there were fire yesterday, that they said fire burning the Unity Party area, we got to enter. You guys were going to enter. That's what anger does. Anger does not calculate anything else. You saw it during the Dillon issue. Today, they are the same guys whom you don't see them supporting Dillon today again because they see anger. Once a person is
that Dillon lied to like
very good people. So people were arguing yesterday that
everything he said he would do for this country, that he's a liar, to be a constant disruptor. He has lied and nothing happened.
So people were saying yesterday, you see the people under the ring, they are doing it. How can an angry person be on a ring because they ventilate their anger? I have seen a child that's angry will have to throw out the dish that they have to fill their stomach because they are angry.
Yeah.
You've done it before.
Yeah.
Your parents.
Yep. So
they will come to you, grab the food and then you throw it away because you're angry.
That's
what anger does. You stay hungry. And you stay hungry. This is what anger does. So the anger is what. So we wanted to know where loyalty really is. So the folks who turn out on CDC Day, you can infer some level of loyalty there because they are going at a venue where the likes of Abraham Will working in government, getting a salary, and but Abraham Will is there working. At the same time, we are going there to support President. We have to keep Abraham Will there, and we are not getting the salary. We are setting our market. We are selling our markets. We are there doing everything we can. Our life may not have changed substantially to the level we wanted, but yet we are in the ring.
I'll come back to you. You know, if you just join us, this is a bumper show. I have Mr. Abraham Gossaway on Honorable Jarawa Tompo, Deputy Minister for Information, and an analyst, Mr. Watson Johnson. And tomorrow, about 5 o'clock, Mr. Henry Clark, the IT Managing Director of the NHA, will be joining me. He's also there for the MPP Say Yes or Georgia re-election. Henry Clark will join me today. And tomorrow I will join Julius J on OKFM, relay on ELBC for a 2-hour discussion with Honorable Akaras Moses Gray, Kalaka Tamaka Gray tomorrow. And so I will not be in these studios tomorrow. Let me come to my friend and brother. The minister will be the last. And I know Mr. Watson just
Walking guest.
You're walking guest.
Attention, and then I will come in.
You are a reserved person. Very reserved. Watson, let me hear your candid opinion on the same question asked to AB about this crowd politics, how it went yesterday, whether we can all of those people you saw at the CC crowd, or we saw in ANC crowd, and you saw them Baka crowd, can they maintain these people? I see video footages, people say, they truck also, they truck off a Grand Bassa, and other men say, I went Baka teacher, they can't give money, which some will not be correct, because the opposition says that they don't have money, they don't have cash, they're barely surviving. So is it possible to truck them? So let me hear your kind of opinion in the last 3 to 4 minutes.
Well, thank you so much. It's good that I was recognized as an analyst.
Yeah, please.
So our views expressed, I don't represent the IAA.
Okay. You're also a journalist.
So yeah, that
Unlike me.
So I listened to AB and I agree with you. You know, crowd politics is a phenomenal factor in an election.
Okay.
But it is not also a determining factor to establish who wins.
Okay.
So it means that those vying for the presidency, whether the legislature, they have to work. You have to perform. So yes, CDC launched the 7th of September. We saw the mammoth crowd, but does it mean that citizens should go to bed, they've won the election? I said no, they still have to work. Those in the CDC should now begin to propagate, the achievements of the president. Nearly 6 years in administration, what the government has done and what the government wants to continue. So the message is on the basis of continuity. So yes, I remember 2017, the late Councillor Bromsky saw that crowd from the former Liberty Party office. I believe he assumed that he has won the election. And that wasn't the case. And you could see that's the reason why he contested the results in court, with the mindset that he has won. So constitutionally, the Constitution says to be announced a winner, in the first round of voting, you must obtain 50 plus 1%.
Okay.
Which I know from 2005, CDC did not obtain 50 plus 1%, within the United Party. Liberty,
they had to go for
CDC won with a popular vote, a re-won, a United Party won. So now we look at Monserrato and Nimba. Monserrato has over 800 registered voters, 891,201. While Nimba has 208,421. So you combine Nimba and Monserrato, we're talking about over 1 million votes, right? Then you come to Bon. Bon has 237,463. Lofa has 177,892, and then Magibi 184,425. So we can be moved by the crowd because the crowd could be deceiving. And so I didn't see the campaign launch of the Unity Party yesterday. I was home the whole yesterday.
But you saw beautiful.
Yes, I saw Pictoria.
I drove around from the Johnsonville to the pipeline to Soul Clinic by the red light, Boulevard, and the Sinker, and I returned.
Yeah.
and but you saw video footages around.
Yeah, so I can sit here and conclude that because Unity Party had a huge crowd.
But even if Unity Party
it means that they have won the election.
Even if they put forth a huge crowd, does that mean that they will win the election in the first ballot? Because everyone is claiming now
anybody thinking that way could be sleeping in an empty pool of illusion. It was just stated. Monserrado and Lima.
Is there any way you think the CDC can recalibrate with what we saw? Because not many people expected the Unity Party would cry the poor yesterday. Even if the cry is lesser than what CDC put out, many people didn't know that it would come out that way. And then they say CDC is a ruling establishment. They had the money, and the other people didn't get money. So they say came out on that held down for the rain. Do we give them the credit for putting such a huge crowd?
When you say,
even if not compared, I mean, read the Liberian people.
Well, I cannot give Unity Party any credit because Unity Party has been in power for 12 years. The former ruling party, and so it is incumbent upon Mr. Bwaka to prove to the Liberian people his worth. So again, it is not just about pulling the crowd; it's about saying to the Liberian people why he wants to be president. What are his achievements? What has he done? Because the last time I checked, I haven't heard Bwaka hiding behind the achievements of Madam Salif. In fact, he said that they will squander opportunities. So you are not excluded. You serve as vice president for 12 years. You squandered opportunities, as you said, but then you running on the same
the same ticket
that you admitted that have squandered opportunities.
So meaning that
over the years, when did Bwaka get to know that the Unity Party was proceeding wrongly? There were
meaning the same party he bombed off yesterday.
Exactly.
When Ellen was there, he kept the VAR on the same party's ticket.
There were
what has changed?
There were junior officials in the Union Party that openly challenged Madam Salif.
Okay.
Joseph Bwaka didn't do it. All right, he sat there even on Madam Salif's birthday.
She was
abused. All right, and I believe Ambassador Bwaka has never been tested. He has never been in a competition. Even look at the CPP, right? Look at the CPP. Benin Ayure, Alexander Cummings, today Delon is senator. All right, at the time CPP was united. Mr. Bwaka became the head of CPP. You saw what happened. All right,
disunity,
dysfunction
of the entire CPP.
The men people claim to be, the most experienced, sat there, even went to court to testify against another.
Which was the reason why the CPP collapsed.
Absolutely. So I can't draw.
So you think that?
So I cannot draw.
You think those are leadership deficits, right?
Exactly.
And because of that, he cannot make a proper decision for the country.
Cannot make an independent political decision, right?
Do we agree with Jeremiah Kuhn that his brain is going down?
Yes, Jeremiah said that he supported and Mr. Bwaka, thinking that 2023 Mr. Bwaka wouldn't have contested. Because at that time, you will have some brain deficiency, and he will not be mentally stable. He even became derogatory.
Of course.
When he said, even his father to a horse where he went.
Come here. Let me hold you right there. Let me invite the walking guest, Honorable Jalawan Tompo, the Deputy Minister of Information. I guess he's the IT Minister, so I don't know who is the IT. Welcome, Mr. Tompo.
It's my pleasure. And
let me get a candid opinion on the matter.
So as I walk in, excuse me, I listen to my two distinguished colleagues, and I'm glad that I'm here with them, even though they are my junior brothers. I'm glad that I'm here with them. But let me be honest with my presentation. On the 7th of September, I was charged with the responsibility to monitor. So what I was doing was at as early as 7 a.m. I left my home. I'm doing comparison of both the 7th and the 17th. So on the 7th, I left my home because I wanted to see what was actually going on. So when I left my home and I went Central Monrovia, as early as 7:30, by then the fee of Lane Street was becoming to get, crowded. The fee was.
I saw your post and I followed the conversation in the chat room. You were still waiting to see what's going on, but now you could see anything.
Good. So I was on the fee. And then, more besides, after I left the fee, then I went back to my office to monitor the counties. Because I was monitoring the
Capitol Hill.
Let's say
Education Ministry.
Yes. To monitor all of the counties, because CDC was doing this across the country. So I was monitoring all of the campaign launch across the country. As early as 7:30, that fee the place was getting packed. And by 2, it was jam-packed, overcrowded, to the extent that I even have to tell the OB that you sent to announce to the public that I think those who are on the way trooping should stay where they are and listen via radio. Similarly, on the 17th, which was yesterday, I left my home.
You are in service around the AGM.
And God be God, my service, my church is around the Buchanan Street. So I have to go there as early as 7 the same time. And I was there up to, I attended the first service Sunday school and then waiting for the second service that starts at 11 a.m. So I was there up to 1. But what I saw yesterday, look, let us agree. There was a small group of people that came out yesterday. But that group that came out yesterday cannot be compared to the group that came out on the 7th.
So reason why? Meaning the Unity Party group was smaller than what you put up.
The Unity Party group was very smaller than the group that CDC put out on the 7th.
Is that because you didn't see people trekking from long distances that what they did from Boulevard Junction, from ELBC Junction, whatsoever they went, trooping in there were no vehicles.
This is what
they didn't see the kind of movement of people.
This is what CDC did, and for me, because of the short breath that I have, I'm always afraid of crowd. So what CDC did was that by 2, Lane Street and the field was jam-packed, Broad Street was packed, Central Street was packed, everywhere. And so I started leaving my office. By the time the president, they announced that the president was arriving, I started leaving. Up to 9th Street, the place was still, from the Bishop Quarter to 9th Street, it was jam-packed.
So as compared to yesterday?
As compared to yesterday. No, coming to yesterday. As compared to yesterday. Yesterday, when I was leaving, when I was returning home, I saw a group of people, trucks, coming from Grand Bassa County.
Surely you saw that?
I saw cars coming from this way, Grand Bassa County.
I saw the video where the guy said they're trucking off from Grand Bassa.
Those were yes, I saw it on TikTok. That is true. So the truth matter about it is that yes, they came out yesterday, but the crowd that CDC put, and look, make no mistake. Make no mistake, and I listened to Mr. William, A.B. William. He said that when CDC was in opposition, CDC has always been in control of Monserrato, and CDC has never gone short of any human being when it comes to putting out or putting people.
Don't you think that would be the same case with the opposition now?
It is not.
It is a proven history now that a ruling party doesn't have control over Monserrato. That is evident of the fact.
No, CDC are the father.
No, John Weah won twice.
Yes.
Here in Monserrato over the ruling coalition for 12 years. So do you think that history can be repeated by these people, or it could be a reverse, that the opposition now fails and the ruling coalition takes it?
The ruling coalition will take Monserrato as I speak. And look, let's be very honest with our analysis as we provide them. George Weah and the ruling CDC, the reaction, the CDC, and those who believe in George Weah, did not come from Magibi, did not come from Bombay County, did not come from Bassa, did not come from Nimba. Those who assembled at the ATS on the 7th of September all came from Monserrato. Unlike the Unity Party, the group that you saw at the ATS, only at the ATS, because the group you saw on Lane Street was the same group that was leaving the ATS going out. So the group you saw was a group that came from Nimba. Jeremiah Coon brought people from Nimba. You only brought people from.
What, is there anything wrong with that?
If you want to show a strength, you want to show Monserrato's strength. You want to show Monserrato's strength. You want to show your strength as compared to the George Weah strength. Then do exactly what you think you can do. Just deal with Monserrato County alone and leave the rest of the counties. Unlike yesterday, you saw the crowd that came out in Granjide. You saw the crowd that came out in Revergy. You saw the crowd that came out in Maryland. You saw the crowd that came out in Sino. You saw the crowd that came out in Cape Mount. You saw the crowd that came out. Grand Crew, I can't say it because Grand Crew is weird. It's not Grand Crew weird. So, I mean, across the country, we are demonstrated to the world that yes, he still has a strength. He has the people on his side. Okay. And these elections that we are going to, make no mistake, George Weah will win these elections on a free, fair basis.
Let me pause it there. I will go around again, then I will come back. And I hope the IT managing director of the NSA, when he comes, he will give us a few times to go through this because it's important for the analysis. Let me come to A.B. William again. He seems to be on the but A.B., what we saw yesterday, the display of crowd and the display of crowd on the 17th, these political talks are just been held around Monserrato. When you go to Lofa, a place there bait. You go to Grand Bassa, a place there. There are 3 counties now that people think that they are politically being battled by other parties. Grand Bassa, Lofa, and other Monserrato. What do you see in the rest of the counties?
What about
Nima, sorry for that, Nima. What do you see in the rest of the counties? Can George Weah, as a president who won 14 of the 15 counties in the 2017 election, can he maintain those votes in those areas? Because people are getting, some people were disenchanted, they left. And that's what he said in his last message to the party headquarters and said, if you are disenchanted, I want you to come back home. Do you think these messages for him about reconciliation, the message they are resonating with the people that he can say maintain those countries in oneness of East?
Well, I think for one to vener an anger and you want to find an alternative, right? I was just trying to speak to what Minister Tumpo spoke to concerning the evidence of opposition only in Monserrato County. I think it was demonstrated after the CDC won in 2017, 2018 took over power. The first election that ever came the CDC's way was in 2019 by-elections. 2019. You had a very, there was one Dillon by-election with Dillon. No, 2019.
2019, right?
2019 was the by-election of Geraldine Doe-Sheriff. Yeah, Geraldine Doe-Sheriff. So it's 2019, right? All right. So what was very much good for the CDC that they did for themselves was to test themselves and succeed themselves in Monserrato County using Sir Joseph when the election was held. Now, going deeper into governance, it started taking the usual historical tradition of opposition only Monserrato County when 2019 the by-election came, and then you saw it, the CDC did not win against Dallas Dillon, that's Pauletta Way v. Dallas Dillon. The CDC did not win. 2020 again, the opposition again, in the same Monserrato County. So that historical trend.
Thomas Fala and who again?
T5 v. Dillon. Yeah. Now, so you had that happening. Now, what I saw on yesterday, because you talk about reconciliation, that's what I thought to go to that.
Okay.
You talk about reconciliation. Now, what I saw on yesterday is like bulk of the people who are angry, maybe probably former government officials mixed with some disenchanted civil servants, unlike disenchanted citizens who were supporting the opposition at the time because they had issues with their own internal party wrangling, how government officials were behaving, the conduct and things. In fact, if you were to ask some of them today, if you go in most of the group chats, they will be expressing their disappointments there, but they will never tell you that they are willing to go the path they went in 2019 and 2020. I thought that the level, because there are still people who are not happy. And there are other citizens who are not happy with some government officials.
Okay.
We host programs, they call on these shows. They say, you don't forget about it, you don't go for we are. You don't worry. So they put behind them their bitterness.
So meaning
with
there are people in the government, as you said earlier in your thesis comment, there are people in the government who are going against the same government they're working in.
Or certainly, in fact, most of the civil servants, why they see that harmonization could be a problem, human relation too could contribute to some of the problems.
Okay.
The reason why some civil servants will not want these people together. Because if you, Jala, you are my boss and we don't have good human relation, and I believe that for me to stay see you, it means I got to vote by Weah to put you back. And if I don't want to see you again, I got to vote against Weah, who will not be there to put you back. I will rather target. So these are all transfer aggressions against President Weah because of conduct of some of his cabinet officials or some of his officials. So you look out of that. But citizens themselves, they have not reached to that level. So most of them who have gone back, they say, no, what we did it against ourselves. We did not benefit anything from there, and we are not doing that. So where we are getting now with this election, Jala, what I saw on yesterday, and I would say from a candid perspective, this is my opinion, that Monserrato County, what the opposition demonstrated, it did not match what the CDC demonstrated when they were in opposition. If you look at the 2017 photos and everything here and there, I think 2017 and I going on, the CDC on their way to the presidency, they never had as much crowd as compared to the Liberty Party. The Liberty Party pulled the most crowd in 2017. The picture evidence there. You can see it.
Then the CDC as well.
I'm telling you. You can look at the pictures you put all together. You will see it. So what the CDC was very strategic about in 2017 is not about just coming up here and there. They have decided to have their foot soldiers into the communities, and that is what they demonstrated in 2017. So the Unity Party, what they did yesterday, it did not give much showing. If you were to ask even folks and within their circles, they will tell you that there's not much showings that they really did yesterday that would demonstrate that indeed the kind of things that we expect. So if you want to give to it, okay, let's grab all of the civil servants, the population of the civil servants, by which I know not all of them, but of course the population of the civil servants. You can sense exactly the conduct of these people. They tell you that they are angry. I just want to hear the hospital over the period, and my fiancée is not going there again.
Why?
She had gone to attend to maternity issue in one OB ward there. There's a lady there who's supposed to be attending to her. The lady is there. It was on a Friday. I was there. You know, that's why you got to be careful how you do things. She's a health practitioner. This tells you the level at which people are angry until they neglect everything about professionalism into the professional. That lady was brave enough to sit there and tell him, baby man, what about it? And say, today I don't want anything from you. Or I will tell you, because she was apparently running campaign for this Sunday rally.
Yeah.
Today I don't need anything from you. All I want for you to do SYZ is to vote good. Because during early time when people man used to come here, they used to give us small thing that tips. You see that tips business.
So she want tips for them.
That tips now. So she said, on this day, I will not take tips from you people. But you know, when early time, people man used to come, you to bring small thing for all. But we are turning now very hard. So I get advancing here for you to take it. Until another lady who
I advise her to go vote for Joe.
No, she had to have a good decision. She did not say that, but you could sense from the perspective that she was speaking, you could sense what she's doing. Yeah, I'm telling you. I see I was around there.
What's her name?
They say one Annie. She see the OB ward. How do they call it? OB ward, the people that walk in. She didn't know. And when my fiancé was sharing that with me, I said, wow, you need this. But so why is that kind of lady discovers that April we don't get a woman going down there? And she hear about April. When you people data with me already. April wasn't we all. They will not care that child and say, what about it is your frustration? These people, they are capable of doing anything. That's why we have said people have gone unprofessional to the extent that their bitterness have made them to put themselves at a place where they can harm anybody any given day. So I just said it's not going there again. And enough for cheapness business I carry out there. I just thought that she was just proximity issue business because against it and whatever it is, so that proximity, but she will go to better hospital and whatever it is. That's why that is the problem. Go in one country. There's a lady there who's the CEO or C waiting for certain hospital there in Bon County. The lady is running campaign for Unity Party. So let's say for instance,
CB Doma,
that is hospital there, right? That lady is running campaign there. So that lady, didn't you know that lady where the CDC to succeed, that lady has the propensity to even honor man drug. Terrible relation to tell the people that in the drama you put there, they say these things. You even go out of JFK, similar story, because they don't know the people they're dealing with. You see that? These stories come up every day. That's what I told you. The people are angry. Even if it was fire yesterday, they were going to enter that fire yesterday to go show something. They're not doing it because they think Bwaka is okay. They didn't say they know the stories. They know that Bwaka is not well. They know that Bwaka cannot deliver. They know that Bwaka does not have the capacity to deliver anything. If you look at Bwaka's track record versus his current record or whatever it is, you put into a distant past, you put into a most recent past, and you put into the future, you will not stay for anything from Bwaka. You see Bwaka surrounding, are they made of people who are able to demonstrate anything? You come in Ria's camp. You see people who practically are able to make personal intervention into people's lives and then tie we are face to it. Look in the Bwaka camp. What can they do to tie Bwaka face to it? All of them mean. That's the difference.
But and one of the things I saw during the president's campaign in the 3 counties which I was controlling as head of the LBS team, I did not see a visibility of the opposition in any of those areas.
Where?
Grand Bassa. I mean,
yesterday?
I didn't know during the president campaign, the counties.
Oh no, for visibility,
you see something in Magibi for visibility for unity parties and other parties, but you can't see that much in the villages we went to in Grand Bassa.
You are even going far to that. Even on yesterday, I took my time to do so. It was like I did on the CDC rally day. I went around while the CDC guys were gathering. I went around into communities. Because it is possible that people will not show up at the rally venue, but they will have to observe the day by wearing their paraphernalia into their business centers. They're selling jazz, you see them. They are not wearing the barrel or whatever it is you see. They'll be doing their normal thing, but they are just observing the day. So that's why you will add up the CDC crowd to that. I challenge anybody to tell me on yesterday, as they were gathering. In fact, but 2 o'clock was when I started making the rounds. 2 o'clock, man, but 2:30 like that, I started making the rounds. You could not see the Unity Party emblem or whatever it is in the communities. Meaning all of them who believe in the party are already left and gone to ATS. The rest of the other people that left there, they were not observing the day. Not that they were not observing the day because they never had those t-shirts, because the Unity Party claimed that they took all the t-shirts. In fact, t-shirts were in demand all over the place. What did they demonstrate on yesterday? They did not have a better showing. The reason it's important for us to know this. These guys who come up on elections day and when election result not to go their way, these deceptions are what they will use as grounds to start causing problems.
Now, I will pause it right there. I'll go to Mr. Tompo because he is a government official, even though he doesn't want to have that nomenclature.
No, let's go right here.
Mr. Tompo, we have the international community present here. And one thing I know, these political rallies, whether they are endorsements, they are campaign activities where crowd come in, the international community uses this one as a mean of using a Bible. This is a popular party. Whether it's in Grand GDS, it is involved many people, or it is in Montserrat or in Grand Cru, they have observers over the area because they want to know who pulls on a bigger crowd, because the crowd policy plays a lot. What do you think about the involvement of the economic community of West Africans and ECOWAS here and the entire, observer mission, where's where they come from? Do you think their president could change anything that will make people abide by what their do's and don'ts are? Because they are critically observing these processes, Mr. Minister.
So I'm glad that you now come back to that nomenclature of a minister, the ministerial title. So so I walk in initially because of the manner and form in which you announced a guest.
Okay.
So I said, okay, let me walk into as a walk-in journalist. But if you still want for us to maintain that title,
okay, walk-in journalist.
I never escaped from that title. I'm opportune and privileged to have that, to serve my country in that capacity.
No, but Mr. Tompo, you are on the radio here. You're on the radio, and I know that.
But the question,
you have 2 offices here.
Yes. So now I take on that posture.
Yeah, you are minister of
minister.
And you are a journalist. When you come on this, we will question you. We will call one of the names. When you come in your own portfolio as a minister of information.
So I agree.
I say,
so go ahead.
At this time, I say, Mr. Minister, because I don't want to lose.
So the question you asked,
yes,
you are quite right. And let me answer your question from where Mr. Williams stopped. And this is why it is important that we come to do what we are doing now, to talk to the Liberian people. So what happened on the 7th? What happened on the 4th? The nomination day was the February 4th. February 4th, yes. February 4th and September 7th. September 7th. But before that time, you had July 17th or the Thank You Friday.
Okay, very hard. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Roddy. So you saw all the crowd, you saw the crowds that George Weah pulled. When I say George Weah, I mean the ruling establishment. So here's a question you ask: if we don't do this, by the time the results are announced, people will base their premise on the small crowd that they pull and say the people cheat us. And so it is important to look in between as to what happened to September 7 and what happened on September 17. So yes, the international community is here. In fact, I have been so many meeting upon meeting with the international community. And I know that what they have said, there are some other things. I mean, I just have to say that we are being in meetings with them. It is not for me now to announce to the Liberian people as to what has been said in those meetings. But they have always said to us that they are here to watch the process. And they will watch the process peacefully. So in watching the process peacefully, we all must look up to them and exactly do what we ought to do. The CDC-led government will at no point in time, let me now speak as a government official. The CDC government.
You are putting a journalistic hat now.
Yeah, the CDC government, this government, George Weah will conduct these elections. These elections will be conducted in a peaceful manner. George Weah has always said this, that these elections will be conducted in a peaceful manner, and these elections will be won peacefully. So the international community, and we are glad that even have the EU now started dispatching all the people. The EU is now engaged. So we are looking up to the EU, but again, we are very cognizant of the fact that in any election process, people must be careful how they make their pronouncement so that they will not tamper with the result. To say, the election is full of, malpractices and what have you. So we have to be very careful how people project the result. But when it comes to George Weah handling this elections process, or the number that you saw, let me go back to the number now as we speak. And I've said this from the onset, that I had the opportunity to monitor. That was my responsibility on the 7th, to monitor across the country. And then yesterday, I had the same opportunity to observe the process and make a candid advice, or give candid advice or candid opinion as to what happened. What happened yesterday was no match to the CDC, was no match to February 4th, was no match to July 17th, was no match to September 7th. All that the ruling, let's say the former ruling party member did. And I saw some of them very angry. I saw some of them stubborn friends, hard-headed friends. I joked them. But these guys are very, if you listen to them on radio, you hear from the expression, you get to know that they are completely angry. And the people forgetting to know, I like for the people to know, because I was at the legislature, the harmonization of policy, even they don't sign up that law. People forgetting to know that there was what you call the elimination standardization law of 2019. That law was passed by both legislature. It was not only George Weah that took upon himself to say we want to harmonize salary, but people forgetting to know that they also downsize people here. Well, because at the legislature, you look at from a better perspective. If you saw what people used to make when somebody was at the marathon making 22,000 monthly, and somebody at the
$7 making
$125. So they went and crafted that law. That was a policy document for the government, for the ruling CDC of 2019. All the legislatures signed it. So the senators, the deputy ministers, the chief clerk, the deputy chief clerk, we put them in certain category. So that law was passed and it becomes a law. So people continue to try it. And now I'm coming back again to the issue that they're campaigning on. Because these are messages that they are now campaigning on now about the drug law, the drug. When the country after the 2003 war coming to Manasarif presidency, Liberians have been living on, bulk of the young people have been living on drugs. But at no point in time, that the past government, the past regime, took upon herself to say, yes, we want to legislate something that will ban drugs, that will make drugs a non-billable, a law. All we saw was that in 2009, there was a $500 million worth of drugs that was confiscated. They continue to talk about $100 million, but they're forgetting to know that under their regime, they brought the first huge consignment of drugs in this country.
Okay, but that's what the CC government said. Gave me power,
And then,
gave me social benefits,
so,
we shouldn't put in all the bad things.
don't put.
Now you are the fixer because you said to them, these people call Unity Party, they're not correct.
Absolutely.
They've abused.
Absolutely.
Vote us in power. Now they have voted you. There's no need to complain about what happened under them. It's a
So we are not complaining on what happened. We are correcting. And how do we correct it? One of the ways that we are going to correct it is by passing the drug law. And one of the ways of correcting it, we have corrected it in love with all of us as Liberians.
I agree because the drug law was lingering in that area.
Yes.
For so many years, and amendments were made, and there was no political will to pass it. Now it's been passed. Is good. Let me say kudos to the Revenue Authority (RA) that they confiscated another huge consumption of drugs.
And that's the issue I'm coming
at the Bowater side.
That is the issue I'm coming to.
Brought a drug and put it into the speaker of the player. And she had the other one, a cartoon. This morning, I listened to the spokesman of the ARA, Mr. Kayina Seme, alluding that this woman brought a selling woman, 38 years old. She brought a drug called Kush into, she opened the speaker, the big speaker, those players. She opened it and took all the things for inside. She stuffed it with Kush. And she has another quantity in a cartoon that was confiscated yesterday, thanks to the drug information, thanks to the ARA custom department.
Mr. Jaya, let me learn my thought.
Please do.
Let me learn my thought, please. So, I mean, the message they are now pushing, they are losing focus. Because the first one they started with, gay right, gay law, they blah, 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 blah. At which point in time, and I can stay anywhere and say it. And that's why I think my Bwaka Fofana and the rest of the people came on the media hour, and I have to call in. Because when you talk about...
How are you talking about ballots and the ballot?
I'm coming to the ballot issue.
I really want to get an honest answer.
The reason why I call, because the issue of this whole something about the gay law, Liberia has not signed onto anything. That message they tried to preach to the Liberian people was not holding water. So at least we have dealt with that message, and it's no longer gaining ground. The reason why I call, when ballot went on to OKFM, I had the opportunity to call. My call went in, but again, I was not given that chance to speak. I remember at the legislature, and I will continue to say this, Bali was number one person who said, and I keep saying it, this is a previous information that I always give out on this particular issue. I'm not saying that those who are doing fast check should go and ask the staffer. If you want to get the detail of what I'm saying, go into and you get to know it.
Into where?
They know how to go into the details of what I'm talking about.
Oh, you are saying it now. So one may ask you are saying this thing. Where did he say it? And where is the evidence?
No, advocating. You don't have to document it.
Oh, did he say that verbally?
He was advocating.
What did he say exactly?
The first thing, there are two issues he advocated on. The first one was the issue of people living with HIV and AIDS. John Balu said the people are polluting our society. So there should be at no point in time when President Salif and the government at the time wanted, let's say, have signed on to, with the Amnesty International law, to accept people living with HIV and AIDS and what have you. Balut, in the corridor of the Senate, John Aki Balut, were advocating that we should not allow people to live in our society, people to live among us. They will pollute the society. They should be taken to.
What was his suggestion?
He was advocating.
To tell them where?
To take them out. But then Manasedi have not faced the government at the time, have not faced the Better Yara. He wanted for people to either be taken to Better Yara or somewhere else.
You mean those living with HIV AIDS?
Those living with HIV. Once you are tested and you are positive, you should be taken out of the society. That was the advocate. The next one was it was Clarice Afajar, Senator then of Mankiwi. She introduced, I think she was the one that introduced the Working Law that that law allows people with disability to cross the street or hinder.
Visually impaired.
So visually impaired people, that if you raise your working, that stuff that you can travel with. The man said the people were disturbing the traffic when they are crossing the street. And so these people should be sent to the rehab, to be sent to rehabilitation center to park them there. That people were disturbing, the blind people were disturbing, the crippled people were disturbing, people were disturbing, crossing the street here and there. Value of this value, and value got no more to speak to the government that the government has done this. The government, look, if you work in Monastery government, if you work in the CDC government, you will understand that it is a clear fact that George Weah has done more. I don't want to go beyond the previous government, but I just want to align his government, link his government. Somebody will say, yes, because George Weah has given you a job, blah, blah, blah. But yes, I'm seeing the fact and I will say the fact. Okay. George Weah has done more than what the previous government had done. The reason why I'm saying this, the previous government had the resources,
and I agree.
The previous government had the resources, and that's why the old man did not make a mistake when he said they squandered the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. Let me come to my friend
George Weah. Honor George Weah. I come in my distinguished colleague. Honor George Weah. Where do you have? You have O'Neill. The government was the darling government of the international community. Money was coming in here and there. You have the George Weah government. Every little resources that is being generated is put somewhere else. Jara, the proper government, and this is something that where they were using our phrase where they said the husband and me will go somewhere and be drinking, bluffing the government cars. Under this regime, if you are
and see Ryan smoke again.
Yes, and we accept it and we live by it because George Weah has said to us that whatever we generate, we should not put our interest first.
Okay.
We should not put our interest first. So whatever the manner and form in which you can go to job, let's go to job like that. But let your bosses be like
okay. Thank you, Mr. Minister Jalawa Tompo. And I have three distinguished journalists here. Mr. Abraham Gosson-Woyong, Mr. Moses Wasin Johnson, former TV presenter at Power FM Power TV, and a prolific writer, Mr. Jalawa Tompo, now the Minister of Information. We are providing a post-analysis conversation right here on the issues that are right now. So let me come to Mr. Wasin Johnson. After he has spoken, I will all indication I can say was stupid that the acting managing director of the NHA and the head for the NPPCS campaign for Georgia re-election, Mr. Henry Clark, cannot make it here because he said he has some difficulties with Vigo and XYZ. So we'll continue then later. I'll open the phone lines for you to participate. But there's a global song we're going to play that from the River G people. At the eve of the election, just 3 months of the election, 4 months of the election, in July, on the 5th of July, the World Bank announced a whooping 300 million.
The World Bank.
Yeah, I'm coming down. Yes, I'm just saying that. Yeah. Before I go to say what you want to say.
Yeah, about Monserrato.
Yeah, Monserrato.
So the narratives changed along the line. So in Monserrato, the sympathy will always go towards the side of the opposition.
Why?
So that was in the case of the CDC, 2005, 2011. But we cannot say that is going to happen in 2003 because 2023. Thank you, 2023, because we will not see that collaboration in 2019. Yeah, after the 2017 election, when the late Bromsky took the National Elections Commission to court, it was when Liberty Party, the ANC, ALP, and the Unity Party, they started the coalition arrangement. And so they formed a coalition. And so you have 4 opposition political parties going against CDC. So because they collaborated in 2020, that led to the election of Darius Dillon. But because of power greed, the coalition did not survive. And so I don't see that possibility of the opposition winning Montserrat County, because at that time, they were considered a formidable force. Cummings bringing supporters from the ANC, Liberty Party. Right now, the Liberty Party itself is divided. Delors is supporting Joseph Boaka. Yobli Kanga is supporting Joseph Boaka. Musa Belete and others are not supporting Joseph Boaka.
They are supporting Cummings.
They're supporting Cummings. Don't even think about Benana Yue getting any closer around Mr. Boaka, because he's also disenchanted. So Abraham talked about people being disenchanted, but till now we have no empirical data to establish that those who are disenchanted or those who have left the CDC, their disenchantment will affect, the chances of Mr. Weah election in a huge negative way. So there are die-hard seditions, even though there are some who will complain that we campaign for Mr. Weah, we made all the sacrifices, and there are public officials. Sometimes the CEO, they bring the windshield down. They are mean, but our love for Mr. Weah cannot be taken away by anyone. So Montserrat County is a possibility that CDC could still retain, that status. CDC could still win in Montserrat County, because the variables will not be the same variables in 2023, because at this time you have the Unity Party standing on its own with a parallel, members from the Liberty Party and I think only the Liberty Party. The ANC is not supporting the Unity Party. The Liberty Party, yes, the split. You have a faction supporting Mr. Boaka, and you have the other faction supporting Mr. Cummings. So I can sit there already to say that CDC is going to win first round, but there's a possibility CDC could win the first round of voting, the populace vote, and that if there's a possibility for a second round in the incumbency theory. And one thing we shouldn't leave out is the incumbency factor.
Now, so you bring me to the question now.
Yeah.
That even though you talk about incumbency factor, which plays a lot, because in recent time I can't recall whether there have been any one-term president in Africa. I said that need to be corrected on that. But this is what I want to ask, and that question goes to every one of you, three of you. I want to hear your different perspectives about this one. When you speak to the guys from the Liberty Party, not Liberty, Unity Party, they are parading one-round victory for Joseph Boakai. When you speak to the CDC, they speak of the same thing, one-round victory. But again, if CDC person will win one-round victory, they say Georgia will cheat in election. So why gives in the convention that again win one round and Georgia can win one round? So in your own thinking, as you just started the premises, Mr. Watson Johnson, do you think what you see that anyone can win on the first ballot? Well, and if that's the case, and if you don't win on the second ballot, on the first ballot rather, do you think those political parties who were together before in a political marriage that then sour and got disintegrated, meaning the ALP, the Unity Party, the Liberty Party, and that of the Unity Party, do you think they can regroup to come against George Weah? And if they regroup, do you think they can win the election in the second round?
Well, in the first place, they were selfish. They were greedy. If you have a collaborating political party going against the CDC, then I would have come out to say that there would have been a possibility for one round, because from 2017, when you put all the votes together, you do the tabulation, you will know that CPP, won more votes, but because they did not collaborate. So if they have collaborated, maybe sorry to say, we've heard some people say, "Oh, the government want to put the money aside, the government stingy and blah blah blah." Maybe if we had a formidable opposition in the election going against Mr. President, we have seen some cash around here. Maybe that the minister and
that's why I made it. Oh, because they're not formidable, so no cash coming up.
I'm just kidding. But the fact is, okay, yes, if the party say they win first round, then we ask them over basis. What are the achievements? Up to now, nobody from the Unity Party has convinced me why Joseph Boakai should be president, and why they think there will be no runoff election. They won't say anything, because even Ambassador Boakai is afraid to even align himself with Madam Salif, so he cannot, come on and say, "Oh, when I was when I was vice president, serving as vice president in the Unity Party government, these are things we've done." So to say to people that Unity Party will win first round, then you will have something substantial to
Say
show
just what? Number?
in terms of development. Why you want? Yeah, at least the CDC can brag on the issue of continuity. We've done this, we've done that. So we're seeking another minute to continue with what we've started.
Okay.
The minister stated that, look, unlike the UP administration, this government has been struggling. This government came to power, it met 135 million as reserve, not in current account, or what we call the government consolidated account. So what did the government do? The government had to, improvise, going to the sea reserve to talk about paying Saver 7. It has become the responsibility of just real government to pay Saver 7 when there was no money in the current account. So it was a challenge. So when we say yes, because of the creativity of the government and Leckman's smart people, that was being resolved. All right. So that you have foreign direct investment, you have capital inflow. These things are not happening. In fact, as far as the people concerned, Liberia has returned to a democratic state. They are in fighting war again. So what the essence of us pumping our money? So resource challenge was a problem. All right, we run a cash-based budget. As we collect, we spend.
Yeah.
And these are things the opposition are not talking about. When the government is performing well in terms of stabilizing the economy, but when the exchange rate is high, oh, forget it. It becomes a song. So to make it short, the government too should not play the laissez-faire attitude, to be lackadaisical, to say, well, because we've seen the crowd and so we've won, President, we have to go and sleep. No. It means that the government needs to do more.
Okay.
What are the messages? What have you done? Forget about Ambassador Boakai. He's not your forget about Ambassador Boakai.
Is it significant, you think?
No, I'm not saying that's a choice of word, but what I'm saying is that you are more concerned about canvassing. You want the votes of the people. There are people who are still disenchanted. What are you doing to reach out to them?
Okay.
What are you doing to say, look, let's back up, be back on? Are you contemplating of bringing it under the sycamore tree to say, look, for the sake of continuity? Because I tell you, those in the Unity Party, their only mission is to come back, to live those kind of extravagant lifestyle that they've missed over the past 6 years. Are they coming with vigor? Are they coming,
Thank you, Mr.
to transform the country?
Mr.
The CDC, all I would say is that, yes, people are disenchanted, but that disenchantment cannot be used as a yardstick to say, in fact, all the people from the CDC has left and joined Unity Party.
Now, maybe Gossett will. I will come to you, Mr. Minister. You'll come in. I will hold you there. Mr. Gossett William, even though you're busy on the phone doing other work. But the fact is that I'm thinking.
I want to talk about the war round.
Yeah, no, we'll come to that. Your time is coming. You close it up, then I will come to you. I will just open a phone line and everybody start calling and talking and be talking to you.
I think they are the.
No, I see you be mayor.
You want to use the power.
No, I don't know where get that video again where I want the president on the radio when in my incapacity a small p. And so Mr. Abraham goes away, and the issue of a one-round victory is a certain. Because if the last time I checked, after Yahya Jammeh, president of Gambia, ruled that country for so long in a dictatorial faction, they went to election. And they felt that the only way to win him, not the same situation like being dictatorial, they win that man, very powerful man, was to bury their hatches, bury all their odds, bury all their egos, and come together irrespective of party differences. They came together, and Adam Barrow became president. In a worst case scenario, do you think there's a happiness given a one-round victory scenario?
Well, the possibilities are there, and it could be possible, especially for the CDC. These are variables I will let you to take into consideration. One, first of all, when former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf said that no one single political party is able to win on the first ballot in 2011, that was prior to 2011 elections, she meant what she said because she saw the strength in the CDC and saw other opposition political parties such as the Rooster Party of Vanisham, they call it ACO. Is that ACO?
No, ACO.
The Action Party. So those strength, she could sense it. So owing to the strength of CDC versus Shemo, then having their share of it. So what she really fought for was not even collaboration, but of course coalition, no, but she fought for a merger, so that you have one force coming together. Yet they went into that and still it did not materialize. Now, going to the 2017 elections, the political parties decided to go for the Rainbow Coalition. You saw the Liberty Party, the CDC, and other political parties as well. They all went together thinking that they would form one block. It did not hold. So they went their separate ways and they had to take us to the runoff. Now, this election, one of the key determinants of this election, especially when it comes to runoff, has already sided with the Unity Party in Prince Johnson. Do you know that Prince Johnson topped Arizona Cummings in the just ended 2017 election?
Yeah.
You know that? So Prince Johnson has finally, he's not going to the election with his Prince Johnson weight anymore. So he has already joined. So that collaboration that will make one that you have wanted in the runoff, you already have it now.
Okay.
I want you to understand what I'm saying.
That which you have wanted come again as an MDR.
Very good.
In the process.
That which you have wanted in the runoff, you already have it now. Benin Ayure was also a factor. Take it away or whatever it is, but he's not contesting for the presidency also.
And he's
so that
so
field,
very angry with the Unity
that
Party.
field is a neutral field that anybody can take onto, and obviously owing to what happened, CDC could likely benefit or ANC.
And I can say he said, I will now so again.
So you find it from that perspective. Now, the next thing there is the ANC of recent, except they show something, they shock us and they surprise us. They are not as strong as we had seen them in 2017.
Okay.
It is the CDC that continues. Remember now, the CDC had May Jones to contend with in the 2017 election. You follow that? Now, so you have the May June party and the rest of the other folks. I don't know whether it's the whole team now you found with the CDC.
They move now. They have come.
They move now.
They come in one accord.
Okay, in one accord.
No distraction.
Okay, no more distraction. Okay, so they are one. So you can sense where we are getting with this election. So Unity Party is the only party so far. If you want to look at the Unity Party, that's what I said. What we saw down there is not what we had expected, because you know a faction of the Liberty Party is also with the Unity Party. You have expected more crowd than that.
Okay.
You gotta know for sure what it is. Now you have the MDR, Prince Johnson, Cone, all of them coming together. You have expected more than what you saw on Sunday. Now you have other parties as well, but I don't want to highlight those parties. So the issue about it is very much important. That one can now state clearly that, except that we can see Arizona Cummings showing anything strange of recent, but if not, But since the battle on Facebook, he says that the crowd politics debate, it was meant to tease the CDC, but the ANC folks are taking it on to
the party.
So they have more sympathy. So were there to be any event where they see and some of them look at it that their party or so forth and they are very angry at what? That's the anger too now could defer to the CDC going to this election.
Political considerations are very necessary in this kind of
and that's why you need to start reaching out.
Now, so yeah, that's what I'm coming to.
Yeah.
Because Cummins now might not have the number, and you didn't hear much about his political activities like.
But you could have some surprise numbers though.
Of course, we can swing along because he is one of the three amongst the political parties. But Mr. Weah will say, I will not run to he not running that way. It's sure he not run to 29. Mr. Cummins, we can be the symbol. The Liberty Party was in opposition, but key factors, key members in the Liberty Party were supporting Ellen Johnson. As a matter of fact, Delon said he was how did he call himself at the time when he supported Ellen Johnson? He's a friendly opposition wasn't there. And so, Mr. Cummins, I give the most power to you. You can be my next president.
That could be some of it, but
it's possible.
Again, that debate is very tense because where we are now, you can't come out.
Let me hear the other journalist, Mr. Jalawan Tampo.
So I have two thoughts. The first thought is absolute. It's complete definite.
Okay.
That the CDC and the ruling coalition going to win on the first round.
Okay. Why are you so convinced?
Good. And then I will come back to the second thought.
Okay.
The first thought is that, and let's go back to 2003 or 2005.
Okay.
When the election of 2005 came about, you have 22 candidates in that race. I hope I'm making it correct. I'm getting it correct. You have 22 presidential candidates in that race. And when Manasari saw the folks of the CDC, but then the CDC are not going in coalition with any political party. George Weah and the CDC took on Manasari when she had a measure. And the CDC came second to her. And then they went for, I don't know whether it was a single or what, because the CDC was completely sure that they had won that election. One political party taking on parties that have merged along with the ruling party at the time. They went for the single, they went for the runoff. The CDC stayed away. CDC boycotted. In 2011, CDC took on Manasari. And you saw the strength. And CDC have never lacking. I like to use the word CDC because it could be the coalition and whatever. And the CDC has, in 2005, was CDC as a party. So they took on Manasari. In 2011, the same variable occurred. 2017 came about. Manasari left the race. When she left the scene, giving the fee as a level playing fee where everybody could fight and get it and what have you, and the people thought that Joseph Boakai would have been a formidable force to reckon with and what have you, because he came from Manasari party, the ruling party at the time. But what happened? Even at the legislature were 29 legislature, 29. Put their weight for different counties. Put their weight behind Joseph Boakai. What happened? George Weah
still beat them.
George Weah won 14 counties, 14 counties out of 15. Only one were outstanding. And then he has not done anything as a person who sits over who sits at the higher seat, or who sits on the higher seat. And he won 14 counties of the 15 counties. Even the 15 county, the one that he did not win, he said got some number from there. Coming to 2023, and this is what I said, if George Weah, who at the time, if George Weah, look, the thing about the crowd, the people talking about that scare tactic they're using, and nobody will be afraid. All of us know that scare tactic politics and what I feel. We put our crowd. George Weah, 2023. This is what I said that George Weah will win on the first ballot, the first round. If George Weah was not a vice president, who was never anybody or close to the presidency, and could win 14 counties, could sweep 14 counties, how much more he has demonstrated, and this is the message he's preaching. I was never a president when you selected me, when you chose me, when you elected me. Now that I have come back to you, I have built hospitals. And you know what?
So you think the messages can resonate with the people?
It's resonating.
I didn't have this, you voted me, but I have this.
That message is resonating. Especially
I did not pay hospital in Bapolo, you voted me.
I did not pay your
I did not pay hospital in Makibi, 40 minutes.
You know what I always call we are the promise keeper, because I work with them at the legislature. And I know one day when he saw the group of the students, huge number that went in that hallway on the second floor, and he said, this is about time to change the narrative of how we pay the children, to pay the wax fees and what have you. And when George Weah became president, he demonstrated that. And I'm hoping that the next government, this is why I said George Weah has raising the bar of the presidency. He deals with the young people, he speaks with the young people. These elections is not about the former governing party, it's about our future. So the young people themselves have taken onto the campaign. If you see in all the communities, you see the exonerate rates are numbers.
Okay.
So George Weah will win on the first ballot.
Thank you, Mr.
In a worst case scenario is my single thought.
Yes,
which is impossible. On a worst case scenario, the rest of the parties, where George Weah, I'm saying, if I said, let me use the word worst case scenario, because George Weah will win on the first ballot. Let me forget about the single thought, in fact. So go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Jalawa Tompo is Deputy Minister for Information, Deputy Minister for Information, Public Affairs. Mr. Waxing Johnson is here as my guest as well. Moses Waxing Johnson, a former television anchor at Power FM, Power TV, and Mr. Abraham Godson Will, the man who is called The Light. They're here sharing their own perspectives on the election process. Let me take this one quickly.
Give me what you say?
Let me leave this one beneath. Giorgio, Giorgio, Tato. Oh yes, this is a Nation's Heavenly J. My name is Jala Grayfield. Remember Jala Grayfield, chapter 1, verse 1. Let's talk and talk and talk, and never shall we fight. Fighting shall never be our portion. I will activate the phone line for you to call in at the time 15 minutes to 6 o'clock. And at 6 o'clock, I draw the curtains on this edition and take my exit. Today is the birthday of my dearest, loveless, and divinest sister, Mrs. Jaso Jala Freeman, the wife of Mr. Bill Nula Freeman of the Liberia National Police, who is not too well too. Nula, good afternoon to you. Abraham Toma, how are you this afternoon, Mr. Toma? You are blessed. Anita, how are you? Today is a birthday too, man. You are blessed.
You are president, judgment, and we are.
Our president, oh. Radio somewhere in Santa Colima can release a bumper show. Radio DMP Law. Radio Makona in Foya District where Thomas Fala is. Right now, reeling the bumper show. Radio Grand Crew release it. In Sierra County, Smart, not Smart FM, but Top FM, owned and operated by Seko Shalif, Seko Kruma rather, release a bumper show where Manyumbala Jala, Rahim Jala is as well. So many radio stations, including our station in Bond County, they are all relaying the bumper show. Welcome to it. And I'm told Chairman is in the Southeast Kumina area as well.
Thank you, our president.
Our president. Let me activate the phone lines now for you. 080514096 070560560. At the two numbers of corner, each caller will have at least a minute to talk. 080 5140960 070560560. Hello, welcome, caller. Caller, are you there? Oh, are you there?
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, welcome. How are you? What's your name, sir?
My name is Maurice Pastor. We're calling from Pro Community.
Maurice, go ahead. Let's hear you quickly.
Well, let me say thank you to all the people that in the studio, Abraham Cousin, we are, and Bro Johnson, we are minister. You know, people that the car, the afternoon, I can see here. I said, one time of car, the pocket of the letter was funny. We got a lot of people in the community, in the community, one of our people have been one lot of, the country, one lot of. Yeah. So, what people everyone saying, a fire guy yesterday, people the power, some of people are going, I'm not going to the people now saying, I'm going to down. It's not a kind of crowd, but I say, but I tell you how to work up, I'm not in this. Then, you can't tell me, I'm all going to I say, see, there are people who will comment, all of mine comment. I tell you, I say, 5 minutes, and you won't comment.
All right. Thank you, sir. The next caller, welcome. How are you?
Hello, Jalad. My name is Jalad. I call from Tuesday.
Jalad, how are you?
Thank you, I'm fine.
Let's hear you, my brother.
Yeah, I think one of your panelists that say that the amount that was left in the country reserve was 135 million. And that statement was made sometimes.
Did anyone panelists here say that? Maybe at the time I was going to take a water break. I didn't hear anyone saying that.
Exactly. So one of them just said it.
Yeah.
And about Kamal only said the same thing last time. And there's a program on the other your sister radio station that they check off fight. And the time was checked off and they said that it wasn't true. There were 150.7 million. But they continue to go to 135 million. So what happened to the 15.5 million?
Okay. Thank you so much, Jala. Thank you, Jala. Let me take this caller from you. Hello, welcome. Let's hear you. Yes, you live here on the bumper show.
Yeah, Julius,
let's hear you from Samikoli.
Yeah, I really don't know what you were saying now. Yesterday it was because of anger. Yeah, this government is doing well. Once people have anger against the government to come on yesterday.
I mean, everybody can be happy. Everybody can be happy.
I wouldn't think it was anger then mean I don't spend the power with the government. The people are tired. That's why yesterday told them under the rain. You understand? No, but you don't get to carry it.
Oh, okay.
Because of anger people all yesterday.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you so very much. Yeah. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, welcome. You live. Let's hear you.
Yes. Young man, my name is Debbie Miles. I'm calling from Timothy.
Okay.
Yes. I listened to our minister and he said that President Weah won the past elections. He won 14 candidates. He will not serve me as president. He won 14 candidates.
But a lie there?
Election.
The lie?
Huh?
Is it a lie he's saying there?
No.
Okay.
That's true. He's not lying. You know what? You know what? He win 14 candidates because at that time, people did not know his crooked deed that he was in. So we say that he was free and fair man that will come and move our country forward. We take now, for what going through our young brother and sister are taking in drugs. I can take for free.
You can't keep running the drugs. That drugs is not a new thing, yeah? That old thing there, start running with that thing. When Madam Salif and Joseph Boga were in power here, the first I heard the name of Zogo, I was doing a talk show on Oak Heaven Morning Rush. The first I didn't tell Zogo the song were in slavery era there. When they saw that they were taking drugs, they had the power to have contained them. But that number grew and grew and grew. After 3 years, the number have multiplied, they have quadrupled. Today, you go in any village around in this country, you see Zogo there. They had the resources for 12 years to have handled those situations to rehabilitate those young people at the time. They didn't do it. And so that issue of drugs does not surface here again. It doesn't make any sense to me when people say, George, we are broke, which is YZ. Where were they? You are not here when Madam Salif convoy coming from Bombay County. The SS guy was in the car. They caught him with drugs in the convoy. Oh, that night about drugs? Didn't we hear about one of President Salif's son being arrested or found a drug around the Guinea border in a vehicle? Why you guys want to turn your eyes against the reality of the day? When the Georgia government came and inherited all of these people right now, there's a process now being put in place by the Ministry of Youth and Sports. The government has provided $526,000 in addition to what the UN has said they're going to put there. Jalawa Tombo is on that committee. They are now rehabilitating young people who are being involved in drugs abuse right now. I saw the video footage from the minister's office where the guys are rehabilitated. They are dancing, they're all happy. They're living the kind of bad habit. Do not bring anything about drugs here. Let me go to the next caller. Okay. Hello, welcome. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, let me hear you, sir.
I'm support calling from Green Corridor County.
Where, from where?
Green Corridor County, District 1.
Okay, District 1, how are you?
Fine.
Okay.
I want to partake on the show.
Go ahead, you live, go ahead. You on the show, please talk.
Yeah, I'm trying to say, I went to Yikapa yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I saw few people on the street with 30 t-shirts from the party. Few people for really good thing. I can't stand it. I really see good 100 people attached to the mobile to come in the south. I really see good 100 people. I program me change the country. I come in election. The project choking on many people. Choking up, pushing 5 people. Trying to see the people flat on the ground. They can't find Joshua.
All right, thank you, my brother. Thank you so much. Hello, welcome, the next caller.
Yeah, Jara.
You want to participate on the show?
Yeah, I'm following the show.
Go ahead, let's hear you.
Yeah, one of your kids, right? I listen to them.
Pascal, hold on. Yeah, go ahead. What call your name, my man?
My name is Cooper Passaway.
Cooper Passaway, let's hear you. I saw all your photos you posted yesterday.
Thank you, Jara. Right? We told people around President George Weah. You should stop listening to them and follow the reality because they put you out like you said, President George Weah. Some of those guys gave up when the government.
Mm-hmm.
They are very ungrateful. They are arrogant. They don't have the ability to really convince our relatives to support George Weah presidency.
Okay.
So the city offices, Rafanka, working close to the office.
And then simply you won't come to because you are there before you squander the opportunities, you won't come by and get a loot.
That's my point, right?
No, but let's agree now. You put road Los Roca and what people are riding today. Today I'm a deputy director for public affairs at LBS. I drive my own car. I don't have a government car. Jalawa Tobe is the deputy minister of information. He doesn't have a government car. So you were there before you had all the luxurious cars around here. When you're told after you left power now, you're starting the car, you'll be running behind your do take it from your mirror, run behind your.
The last time I said the former Minister of State was Minister in
My man, the Minister of State was a minister in the government. He resigned as the internal minister, assistant minister. Nathan Mange resigned as assistant minister because of the bad governance issue.
The current chairman of CDC was in 4 different ministries.
Yeah. So what do you want with that?
The current social minister of who were in government. I can call names about name, right? If anybody still is subject, those folks still watch out there what to appeal. So they have to say some of
those were elements in the government. They were not major decision makers that your blogger is. You know? So why you got why you guys are taking the glory for the good things and all the bad things that Ellen Johnson said?
People said on the state radio the title laugh to the people that keep us angry, right?
Thank you, Mr. Passaway. You have 1 minute, but you've gone 3.5 minutes now. So let me let you go. Thanks a lot, Mr. Passaway. Thank you, Mr. Passaway. To the final call, I come from my panelists here. You know, you have 1 minute, but I'll let you go about 2.5 minutes. Hello, welcome. You're the last caller. 15 seconds, rather. Good evening. Let me hear you. Oh, hold on, please. I forgot about you. Yeah, go ahead. This is the more. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you so much for putting on the podium as you come with fact. You understand? You said the crowd that the crowd was a scared at it.
Don't scared at it. No, you missed it in the man. This is where you got scared at it. A man said, where you got scared at it, man? Let me talk to Assistant Minister and the Minister of Information, Mr. Joel Sando. Mr. Minister, you have just 10 seconds. No time, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon to everyone. Good afternoon to you and my senior colleague. Thank you guys so much. The crowd they put on last yesterday and the one depending on to dethrone President we are government, they're gonna rethink. We are closing on October 8th, the last Sunday before election. They will see the real crowd with the voting number. And repeat, we are closing October 8th, 2023.
Is that official?
I can tell you this as far as I'm concerned until it changes from what I heard from the campaign chairman is we are closing. Things can change, but until then it remains official. So what they put yesterday, last evening, is nothing. It's not compared. You read 2 people to the early newspaper from British Africa. They said our crowd was more than the crowd they put on last night. If the crowd competition,
but even the blind man knows how to some flaws in his head when he says that.
These guys who lead this country, they will not come back to lose this country anymore.
Thank you, Mr. Minister.
What it means is the luxurious life they were living, they will not live it.
You know what I mean about gas slip? We'll be buying gas for your car for 5 years now. When they were there, we see gas. The gas slip was here. They have everything at their disposal. By the end of the day, this CDC government, you don't have gas slips of some ministries and agencies. People ride their own vehicle to go to work. That's how it, that's a desperation and a dishonesty to bring to this whole conversation about who becomes president tomorrow. Let me go to Abraham Gossawian for his partner commissioner.
All right, so thank you, and I was listening to my brother Cooper pass away. He always contradicts himself. The last time the CDC put a crowd when I was doing the analysis on the day of that program, Cooper calls it anybody will not be in a right mind within the thing that George we are not popular. He conceded that day.
That's what he said.
He said it that day.
George, you are not the reason why.
Yeah, very good. So he conceded that day, but now he's now coming in his right mind now to believe that they put more crowd. You see where the problems are? And for some of us, we believe that whatever we think and what we say are not things that come from our own lenses. Like Jura said correctly, I read through newspapers, articles, and think if you do your analysis on a fair note, you know exactly the UP did not match anything as compared to the CDC. Now, on the close of campaign date, I was able to read the National Elections Commission calendar of events as per the political parties, campaign, and rallies. So the UP will be on the 7th of October, while the CDC will be on the 8th. Now, the UP will be on Saturday, and the CDC will be on Sunday.
Wow.
Let's watch out and see. And guess, mind you, at that time, most of the folks who are supposed to have gone to those distant counties, they must have already left.
Yes.
Only people who are left with doing business in the nearby counties or only most of the other countries will be here. Yeah, so we'll match them by that. So let's do that one day.
Thank you. Mr. Moses Wassing Johnson, I'm an analyst of former Power TV.
Thank you so much. I think in 2017, like when people were tired, and Ambassador Bwaka and Madam Salif shall retire honorably. So I don't know what pushed him to contest the presidency. And so
that was a promise made to the Liberian people.
I want to know from 2000.
We come together, we live together.
From 2017 to 2023, what has changed significantly that the Unity Party people can convince us that they seen Joseph Walker, who was flocked in 2017, can now come back and defeat the incumbent president, which of course is now
all the tangibles we see.
We have 20 candidates, and some of them are spoilers. So if anybody who will brag of winning one round is the incumbent government and not the Unity Party, because till now it's a former ruling party that has nothing to show, except there are people who want to regain power to live in luxury. Thank you for
Mr. Minister, your party commissioner.
So before I say what I want to say,
we have only 1 minute.
Yes, I have 1 minute, and okay, I can't see the other one.
Yeah, please.
So the people continue to talk about the drug law, and I told you that we have done something about the whole issue of the drug law. The first policy document that we introduced was the drug law that we are introduced. The one that we now working on now is the Awake Youth Program. As we speak, as of Thursday last week, and we'll give that details later on, we have recruited 449 voluntary drug users. Those are people that came to us say they want to be detoxified. And those are the people that we are working on now. But on the issue, and I like what AB said, and that's what I wanted to, because on October 7 and 9 and 8, let us wait and see who really has a crowd.
Okay.
On the 7th is Saturday. On the 8th is Sunday. CDC will have their praise and worship at the APS.
Thank you. Mr. Jalawa Tompo, a journalist by profession, Deputy Minister of Information for Public Affairs, Abraham Gosson William, General Manager of General Manager of Freedom FM, Freedom Communication, Mr. Moses Wassing Johnson, a political analyst, also a journalist being here this afternoon, up to the evening hours on the Bumper Show. Join me again tomorrow. Again, we'll be broadcasting on OKFM studio. I will join my young brother Julius J on a summercast with our Karos Moses Talakai Tamakai Gray. Have a good day from Monrovia.